Combat Arena 3 was packed with students by the time the match was scheduled to begin. Every seat in the viewing gallery was filled. Cadets stood in the aisles, crowded against the walls, anywhere they could find space to watch. Word had spread beyond the academy. Officers from the station came. Even some of the civilian staff arrived to witness the match. The arena itself was a circular platform 50 meters across. Variable gravity zones could be activated for advanced training. Obstacles could rise from the floor. For today's match, Instructor Vorn had kept it simple. Flat surface, standard gravity, nowhere to hide. Just two fighters and their skills. HFY entered first. She wore her combat armor, light and flexible, colored in the traditional blue and silver of her family. Her plasma staff was locked across her back. Wrist blades gleamed at her sides. She looked every bit the champion, and the crowd cheered when she raised her fist in salute. She played to the audience, smiling and confident. This was her moment. She had trained her entire life for matches like this. The human would be tough, certainly. Instructor Vorn didn't give warnings lightly. But HFY had advantages. Speed, strength, reflexes. She just needed to use them properly. The crowd noise changed, becoming mixed with curious murmurs. Bora had entered from the opposite side. She looked small compared to HFY. Her armor was standard academy issue, nothing fancy. Dark gray with minimal markings. She carried a basic plasma rifle slung across her chest and a combat knife on her hip. The knife Instructor Vorn had given her. She didn't wave to the crowd or acknowledge them at all. She simply walked to her starting position and stood there, waiting. Her face showed nothing. No excitement, no fear, no emotion at all. She looked like someone waiting for a transport, not someone about to fight. From the control booth, Instructor Vorn watched carefully. His co-supervisor, a Krath named Vel, leaned forward. "The human looks calm," Vel observed. "Too calm, perhaps?" "Watch her eyes," Vorn said quietly. "That's where you'll see it." "See what?" "The change. When humans enter combat mode, something shifts. Their pupils dilate. Their micro-expressions disappear. It's like watching a switch flip. They go from person to predator in an instant." Vel studied Bora through the cameras. "I see what you mean. She's very still. That's the patience. Humans are persistence hunters. They can wait for hours, days even, for the right moment. Then they strike." Vorn activated the arena communication system. "Combatants, take your positions. Match rules are as follows. 3 rounds of 5 minutes each, 2 minutes rest between rounds. Victory by knockout, submission, or points. Medical override is active. If either fighter reaches critical damage threshold, the AI will end the match immediately." "Understood?" Both fighters signaled understanding. Weapons are set to training mode. They will hurt but not kill. Standard pain feedback is active. Vorn paused. "This is a sanctioned academy match. You will both fight with honor. Are you ready?" HFY nodded eagerly. Bora simply raised one hand in acknowledgement, then begin. The bell sounded. HFY moved instantly. Her enhanced reflexes kicked in, and she crossed half the arena in seconds. Her staff came up, spinning in a complex pattern designed to confuse and overwhelm. She had studied human combat footage. Humans like to shoot from range, so she needed to close the distance quickly. Bora fired her rifle twice. The plasma bolt screamed across the arena. Both missed. HFY weaved between them easily, her speed making her almost blur. She grinned. Too easy? The human couldn't track her movements fast enough. She closed the final distance and spun her staff in a devastating arc aimed at Bora's ribs. The impact was solid. Bora's armor absorbed some of it, but the force still sent her sliding across the platform. The crowd roared. Medical sensors showed elevated pain signals from the human. That had hurt. Good. 1 or 2 more hits like that and this would be over. HFY pressed forward, not giving her opponent time to recover. She launched a combination attack. Staff moving in complex patterns. High strike, low sweep, thrust, spin. Each movement was perfect. Exactly as she had trained thousands of times. Bora blocked the first 2 strikes but couldn't avoid them all. The staff caught her shoulder with a crack that echoed through the arena. Then her leg. Bora stumbled. The medical readouts showed more damage. The human was hurting badly now. HFY felt a moment of disappointment. Was this really all humans had? Where was the danger Instructor Vorn had warned about? She committed to a heavy overhead strike, putting all her strength behind it. This would end it. Then Bora smiled. It wasn't a happy smile. It was something else entirely. Something that made HFY suddenly uncertain. Instead of dodging, Bora stepped forward, into the strike. The staff came down hard on her armored forearm. The impact was brutal. Bora's arm guard cracked. More pain signals flooded the medical sensors, but in that same instant, while HFY was committed to her strike, Bora's knife came up. Fast and precise, it drove into HFY's exposed left side, right where the armor plates connected. The training charge activated. Electricity surged through HFY's torso. Her entire left side went numb instantly. Her muscles stopped responding. She stumbled backward, shocked. What? HFY couldn't understand what had just happened. You let me hit you? Bora rolled her injured shoulder, testing it. Trade damage for position. If I dodge, you recover and strike again. If I block, you still have initiative. But if I take the hit and move in, I get inside your guard. Her voice was calm, like she was explaining a simple math problem. Basic human tactics. Accept pain to create opportunity. HFY looked down at her numb side. The training knife had delivered a strong shock, but nothing permanent. In real combat, that would have been a killing blow to her kidney. She would have bled out in minutes. Round's mine, Bora said quietly. The bell rang. Round 1 ended. The crowd was silent, stunned. Nobody had expected this. The human had been losing, taking serious damage, and then suddenly reversed everything in one move. In the control booth, Vel turned to Vorn. She sacrificed her own health for one opening. Yes, that's what I was trying to explain. Humans don't fight to avoid damage. They fight to win. Those are very different things. During the rest period, HFY's medical team worked quickly. They treated the shock damage, getting feeling back into her side. Her coach pulled up tactical displays. She's accepting hits you should avoid, the coach said urgently. Don't let her inside your guard. Use your reach advantage. Hit and move. Don't commit to heavy strikes she can counter. HFY nodded, but her confidence was shaken. She had landed clean hits, multiple strikes. The human should have been down. Instead, Bora had taken the pain and turned it into victory. In Bora's corner, the human medical officer checked her injuries. 3 cracked ribs, severe bruising on your shoulder and leg, strained ligament in your forearm. He looked at her seriously. You need to forfeit. These injuries will get worse if you continue. No, Bora said simply. She drank water slowly. I'm fine. You are not fine. You're hurt. I've been hurt before. It's not important. Your pain readings are... Pain is just information, Bora interrupted. It tells me something is damaged. I already know that. The information isn't useful anymore. She stood up, testing her weight. Her leg hurt, but it held. I can still move. I can still fight. That's all that matters. Jinwoo leaned over from the gallery. Make them understand, Bora. She nodded once. The bell rang for round 2. HFY changed her strategy. No more close engagement. She kept her distance, using her speed to stay just out of Bora's reach. Quick strikes, then retreat. Jab and move. Don't commit. Don't give the human another opening. It worked. She scored hit after hit. Bora's rifle fire couldn't track her movements. The human was slowing down, injuries accumulating. Medical displays showed critical warnings. HFY landed a spinning kick to Bora's torso that sent the human to one knee. The crowd cheered. This was more like it. The natural order restored, speed and skill overcoming stubbornness. But Bora got up, slower now, favoring her injured leg. But she got up, HFY hit her again. A thrust to the shoulder. Bora staggered but didn't fall. Stay down, HFY said, surprised by the concern in her own voice. You're hurt? This is just training. It's not worth permanent damage, Bora looked at her. Through her. You don't understand yet. That's okay. You will, she charged, not fast. Not pretty. Just forward, relentless, like a glacier moving downhill. HFY dodged easily, striking Bora twice more. But the human kept coming. Then Bora did something unexpected. She stopped trying to track HFY's movements. Instead, she watched the arena floor, watching for patterns. Every time HFY attacked, she retreated to certain positions. Safe zones, optimal range. Valkyrian combat doctrine emphasized efficiency, and efficiency created patterns. Bora was counting. Timing, waiting. HFY came in for another strike. Bora didn't track her movement. She predicted where HFY would retreat to after the hit. She took the strike without defense and lunged to that exact spot. Her hands locked onto HFY's staff. HFY tried to pull back. She was stronger. She should have been able to yank the staff free easily. But Bora's grip didn't break. Human hands, evolved from tree-climbing ancestors, could lock like vices when needed. tendons and ligaments designed to support full body weight for hours. Bora pulled. The news of the challenge spread through Nexus 7 like fire through dry grass. By morning, every student knew. By noon, the betting pools had grown massive. Most bets favored Haywan by a wide margin. A few brave souls bet on Bora, though more out of hope for an upset than any real confidence. Bora woke before dawn, as she always did. Old habits died hard. On Earth, in the Korean border zones where she grew up, early morning runs were mandatory. Rain or shine, summer or winter, soldiers ran. Her father had been a peacekeeper. Her mother, too. 3 generations of her family had served in the unified forces. She remembered her mother's words from years ago. "We're not the biggest or the strongest, Bora, but we're still here. That counts for something." Earth. Just thinking about home made Bora's chest tight. The academy students had no idea what Earth really was. They saw the cities, the technology, the art and culture. They didn't see the truth underneath. Earth was a death world. Scientists who visited from other planets needed special equipment just to survive the gravity. The air pressure was wrong. The weather was violent. Hurricanes, earthquakes, tsunamis, tornadoes. Nature itself seemed designed to kill humans at every opportunity. And that was before considering the other life forms. Earth had predators everywhere. In the oceans, in the forests, in the deserts, even in the microscopic world. Diseases that could kill in days. Parasites that ate you from inside. Venomous creatures that could drop you with a single bite. Humans survived anyway. They hunted animals bigger and stronger than themselves. They crossed deserts that should have killed them. They climbed mountains where the air was too thin to breathe. They sailed oceans in wooden boats, knowing they might never return. They survived because they were too stubborn to die. Because when every other creature would give up and accept death, humans kept going. One more step. One more breath. One more day. That stubbornness was in Bora's blood. In every human's blood. Millions of years of evolution screaming one message. Don't stop, don't ever stop, keep moving, keep fighting, survive. Bora finished her morning workout and headed to the showers. She passed other cadets in the hallway. Most looked at her with curiosity now, not dismissal. A few nodded respectfully. They wanted to see what would happen. They wanted to know if Instructor Vorn's warning was real or just old soldier superstition. After breakfast, Bora went to see Instructor Vorn. His office was small and filled with weapons from 100 worlds. He looked up when she entered. "Cadet Bora, I expected you." He gestured to a chair. "Sit." She sat. For a moment, neither spoke. "You tried to warn her off," Vorn said finally. "I appreciate that." She didn't listen. They never do. The young always think they know better. He leaned forward. "I need to ask you something. Your psychological file says you're rated level 3 combat persistent. Explain what that means for those of us who don't know human classifications." Bora chose her words carefully. Earth military doctors test all soldiers for pain tolerance and combat effectiveness under stress. Most soldiers are level 1. They can fight through minor injuries and keep going. Level 2 soldiers can function with moderate injuries. Level 3 means I've been cleared to continue combat operations even after sustaining injuries that would incapacitate most species. You're saying you can fight with broken bones? Internal damage? If necessary, yes, sir. Vorn was quiet for a long moment. The Valkyrians have enhanced reflexes, 3 times faster than human baseline. They also have redundant organ systems. You can stab them through the heart and they'll keep fighting for another 10 minutes before their backup heart fails. I've read the species brief. Sir, you could lose this match, Cadet. It would be no shame. Haywan is the best fighter they've produced in years. Bora met his eyes. Respectfully, sir, I won't lose. It wasn't arrogance. Her voice was calm, matter-of-fact. Like someone stating that water was wet or fire was hot. Just simple truth. Vorn studied her face. He saw something there that most people missed. A stillness. A patience. Like looking at a predator that could wait for days for the right moment to strike. Very well, he said. The match is approved. Full medical teams will be standing by. I'm also implementing a supervisor override. If either of you reaches the permanent damage threshold, the AI will stop the fight immediately. Understood, sir. One more thing. Vorn stood and walked to his weapon wall. He pulled down a knife. Old, worn, with a simple leather grip. This was given to me by a human soldier I served with. Captain Park, she saved my life twice. The second time, she had 3 broken ribs and a collapsed lung. She still carried me 2 miles to the extraction point. He held out the knife. She told me to give this to any human who reminded me of her. You remind me of her. Bora took the knife. It was balanced perfectly, the weight distributed for throwing or close combat. Thank you, sir. Don't thank me. Just make sure you come back in one piece. That evening, Bora returned to her quarters to find Jinwoo and Taemin waiting for her. Both were human cadets from the East Asian training groups. They looked worried. Everyone's talking about the match, Jinwoo said. Some of the students are saying terrible things, saying you're going to embarrass all humans, that we don't belong here. Let them talk, Bora said calmly. She sat on her bunk and began cleaning her weapons. You don't have to do this, Taemin added. We could file a complaint. Say Haewon was creating a hostile environment. Get the match canceled. Bora looked up at them. And then what? We hide? We avoid every challenge. We prove them right by showing we're weak. We're not weak. Then we need to show them that. Not with words. With action. She returned to her weapons. Haewon challenged me in front of the entire academy. If I back down, every alien student here will think they can push humans around. They'll think we're soft, easy targets, so this is about pride? No, this is about making them understand. Bora's voice was quiet but firm. Instructor Vorn gave them a warning. Don't challenge humans. They didn't listen because they don't believe it. Words won't convince them. But tomorrow they'll believe. Jinwoo sat down across from her. What are you planning to do? Whatever it takes to win. That's not an answer. Bora smiled slightly. Yes, it is. That's the whole answer. Humans do whatever it takes. That's what makes us different. Other species have rules about how much pain is acceptable, how much damage is worth taking. We don't. We have one rule, win. Everything else is negotiable. She stood and walked to the window. Outside, she could see the stars. Thousands of species out there, millions of worlds. And humans were the newcomers, the primitives from a backwater planet. Everyone was watching to see if humans belonged in the greater galaxy. Tomorrow would be one small answer to that question. Taemin and Jinwoo left eventually, still worried but understanding they couldn't change her mind. Bora spent the rest of the evening in meditation, an old practice her grandfather had taught her. Clear the mind. Focus the body. Prepare the spirit. She thought about home, about the mountains she used to run through, about the old veterans who trained her, men and women who had seen real war and survived. They taught her that fighting wasn't about being the strongest or the fastest. It was about being the one who refused to quit. Pain is temporary, her first instructor had said. Defeat is permanent. Choose wisely, Bora had chosen long ago. She would rather endure any pain than accept defeat. That was the human way. That was why humans had climbed to the top of Earth's food chain despite being weaker than bears, slower than wolves, and less armored than beetles. Humans won because they didn't know how to quit. Night fell over the academy. In her quarters, Haewon prepared too. She reviewed combat footage, studied human anatomy, planned her strategy. She was confident but not foolish. Instructor Vorn's warning bothered her more than she wanted to admit. In the betting halls, students argued about the odds. In the training rooms, cadets placed last-minute bets. Throughout Nexus 7, excitement built. This wasn't just another practice match. This was a test. A question asked and soon to be answered. Could humans really be as dangerous as Instructor Vorn claimed? Or were they just another species, nothing special, nothing to fear? Tomorrow, the Academy would learn the truth. Bora lay in her bunk, eyes closed, breathing slow and steady. She wasn't nervous. She wasn't excited. She was simply ready, ready to show them what Earth had created, ready to prove why you should never challenge someone whose species had survived the impossible, ready to teach them why Instructor Vorn had looked so serious when he gave his warning. Tomorrow Haewon would learn. Tomorrow they would all learn. The match was coming. The combat training hall of Nexus 7 Academy echoed with the sound of weapons clashing. Students from across the galaxy trained together under the watchful eyes of veteran instructors. This was no ordinary school. Only the best warriors from hundreds of worlds earned a place here. Those who graduated would join the Stellar Guard, the most elite fighting force in known space. Haewon moved through her opponents like water flowing around stones. Her blue skin shimmered under the training lights as she spun and struck with perfect precision. 3 cadets lay on the mat behind her, stunned and defeated. The 4th barely had time to raise his weapon before her staff connected with his chest. He dropped hard. The watching students whispered among themselves. HFY was undefeated this term. Some said she was the best fighter the Academy had seen in a decade. Her family had produced military champions for 4 generations. Victory was in her blood. Excellent form, Cadet HFY, Instructor Vorn called from the side of the mat. The old Thulrak warrior had scars covering half his face, each one telling a story of battles across 70 star systems. But you're showing off now. In real combat, wasted movement means death. HFY bowed respectfully, but her smile remained. She knew she was good. Everyone knew it. In the back corner of the training hall, a small figure practiced alone. Bora moved through her forms with quiet focus, her dark hair tied back, sweat dripping from her face. She had been training for 3 hours straight without rest. None of the other students paid her much attention. She was human, and humans were new to the academy. Most cadets didn't know what to make of them. The training session ended. Students filed toward the showers, discussing the upcoming championship trials. HFY walked with her friends, accepting their praise with casual confidence. "Think anyone can beat you this year?" one of them asked. "Honestly?" "No," HFY said. She wasn't being arrogant. It was simply fact. She had studied the competition. None of them matched her speed or training. The next class was tactical theory. Students filled the lecture hall, taking seats according to their social groups. The elite fighters sat near the front. The specialists and support cadets sat in the middle. The 3 human students sat in the back corner as they always did. Instructor Vorn entered and activated the holo display. Today we discuss the newest species to join the Galactic Coalition. The humans of Earth. Images filled the screen. Views of a blue and green planet. Cities that looked primitive compared to most galactic civilizations. And creatures that seemed impossibly fragile. A student in the 3rd row laughed. "Those are warriors? They look like they'd break in a strong wind." "No natural armor," another observed. "No claws, no venom, no enhanced strength that I can see. How did they even survive on their own world?" The questions continued. To most of the class, humans looked weak. Their bodies seemed designed for nothing in particular. Average height, average weight, no obvious weapons or defenses. Several students glanced back at Bora with barely hidden amusement. Instructor Vorn let them talk for a moment. Then he pressed a button and new footage appeared. Combat recordings. Humans in battle. The class expected to see clumsy fighting. What they saw instead made them quiet. Human soldiers moving through impossible terrain, carrying wounded comrades for miles, fighting with broken bones and serious injuries. One video showed a human dragging herself across a battlefield with both legs destroyed, still firing her weapon. "I don't understand," a student said. "That human should be unconscious from pain. How is she still fighting?" "Because humans don't stop," Vorn said quietly. His voice carried something the students rarely heard from him. Respect mixed with something else. Something that might have been fear. "I have fought beside 3 human soldiers in my career. I watched them do things that should have been impossible. I watched them continue fighting long after any logical being would have surrendered or died." He turned to face the class directly. His scarred face was serious. "I am going to give you all a warning. Listen carefully. Never under any circumstances challenge a human to combat. Not in training. Not in war, not ever. If you find yourself facing a human in battle, end it quickly or disengage. Do not let it become a prolonged fight." The lecture hall was silent. Instructor Vorn had fought in dozens of wars. He had trained thousands of warriors. He never gave warnings like this. "But sir," HFY spoke up from her seat, "with respect, I don't see what makes them so dangerous. They look slow compared to my species, weak compared to the Krath, fragile compared to almost everyone here." Vorn's eyes locked onto hers. "That is exactly what makes them lethal, cadet. They don't look dangerous until it's too late." "I just think—" "You think you could beat one in a fair fight?" Vorn interrupted. "You probably could. You're faster and stronger. But humans don't care about fair fights. They care about winning, and they've survived on a death world that tried to kill them every single day for millions of years. That kind of survival pressure creates something unique, something dangerous." He pulled up more data. Earth has gravity 15% higher than most inhabited worlds. Weather that can kill in minutes. Predators at every level. Diseases that would devastate other species. Humans evolved to survive all of it. Not by being strongest or fastest, but by being too stubborn to die. HFY wanted to argue more, but something in Vorn's expression stopped her. She had never seen the old instructor look quite so serious. The class ended. Students gathered their materials and headed out. Heywan walked slowly, thinking about what she had heard. She glanced over and saw Bora closing her datapad, preparing to leave. An idea formed in Heywan's mind. Perhaps a foolish idea, but she had never backed down from a challenge. And really, what was the harm? This was a training academy. Medical teams stood by for every match. Safety protocols prevented serious injury. She approached Bora in the corridor outside the lecture hall. Several other students noticed and slowed down to watch. Human, Heywan said. Bora, right? Bora looked up. Her expression was neutral, calm. Yes, you heard what Instructor Vorn said. About humans being dangerous. Heywan circled slowly. About never challenging one of you. I heard. I want to test that theory. I challenge you to a match tomorrow, Combat Arena 3, full academy rules. Heywan smiled. Unless you're afraid? Bora looked at her for a long moment. Her face showed nothing. No anger, no fear, no excitement. Just calm assessment. You should listen to Instructor Vorn, Bora said quietly. He's trying to help you. Is that fear I'm hearing? No. Bora picked up her bag. It's a courtesy warning. You'll only get one. She walked away without another word. Behind her, Heywan laughed. The other students started talking immediately. By dinner time, everyone at the academy knew about the challenge. By evening, betting pools had formed. In her quarters that night, Bora sat on her bunk and stared at the wall. Her roommate Jin Woo looked over at her. You don't have to accept, he said. Yes, I do, Bora replied. She challenged me in front of everyone. If I back down, every human here becomes a target. Maybe that's okay. Maybe we don't need to prove anything. Bora shook her head. They need to understand why Instructor Vorn gave that warning. Words won't teach them, but action will. She lay back on her bunk and closed her eyes. Tomorrow would be interesting. Tomorrow the academy would learn what humans really were. Tomorrow they would understand why you should never challenge someone from Earth. Tomorrow, Heywan would learn why Instructor Vorn looked afraid when he talked about human soldiers. Bora smiled slightly in the darkness. It wasn't a happy smile. It was the smile of someone who knew exactly what was coming and knew there was no way to stop it now. The challenge was accepted. The match would happen, and nothing would be the same after. Bora woke in the medical bay 3 days later. The regeneration pod had done its work, knitting broken bones and torn tissue back together. She felt weak but whole, like someone recovering from a long illness. The room was quiet except for the soft hum of medical equipment. Afternoon light filtered through the windows. She tried to sit up and found she could, though her body protested with dull aches. Easy, a voice said. You're healed, but you'll be sore for another day. Bora turned her head. Heywan sat in a chair beside the pod. The Valkyrian looked different somehow, smaller, or maybe just less arrogant than before. You've been sitting there long? Bora asked, her voice rough from disuse. I visit every day. You were unconscious for 72 hours. The doctor said your body needed the rest. Heywan leaned forward. How do you feel? Like I fought someone faster and stronger than me, Bora said honestly. She managed a small smile. You hit hard. Not hard enough, apparently. Heywan's voice was quiet. I've been thinking about the match, reviewing the footage, analyzing what happened, and I had every advantage. Speed, strength, reflexes, redundant systems. I landed more hits, scored more points in the first half of each round. By every logical measure, I should have won. Bora sat up fully now, moving carefully. But you didn't care about any of that. You just kept coming. It was like fighting someone who couldn't lose because they didn't understand the concept of losing. Heywan met her eyes. I realized something during that final round. When you had me in that chokehold. You would have held on until we both passed out, wouldn't you? Yes. And if we had both gone unconscious and the medics revived us, you would have fought again. Yes. And you would have kept fighting. Kept trying no matter how many times you lost or got hurt, until you finally won or died trying. Bora nodded slowly. That's what humans do. It's not special or heroic. It's just how we're built. Earth made us this way. Heywan was quiet for a long moment. I need to apologize. When I challenged you, I was arrogant. I thought humans were weak because you don't have natural advantages like my people do. I didn't understand that you don't need natural advantages when you have that kind of determination. You fought well, Bora said, honestly. Your technique was better. Your strategy was sound. Under different circumstances, you would have won. What circumstances? If I had been anything other than human, if I had a logical breaking point, if I knew when to give up. Bora swung her legs off the medical bed, testing her weight. Her legs held. Good. But humans don't have that. It got bred out of us millions of years ago. The ones who gave up when things got hard didn't survive, didn't pass on their genes. Only the stubborn ones made it. Generation after generation after generation, until stubbornness became our defining trait. A medical officer entered, checking Bora's readings. You're cleared for release. But take it easy for another few days. No combat training. Light exercise only. Understood, Bora said. After the officer left, Haywan stood. There's something you should know. The academy has been different since the match. People look at humans differently now. With respect and caution. Good. That was the point. Some students are saying you're dangerous. That humans shouldn't be allowed to compete in standard matches because you don't fight fairly. Bora's expression hardened. Life isn't fair. Combat isn't fair. Only training pretends to be fair. I know. I told them the same thing. Haywan moved toward the door, then paused. Instructor Vorn wants to see you when you're released. He's in his office. After Haywan left, Bora dressed slowly in a fresh uniform. Her old armor had been destroyed in the fight. She would need to requisition new equipment. The walk to Vorn's office took longer than usual. Other students in the corridor stopped and stared as she passed. Some nodded respectfully. Others whispered. She ignored them all. Vorn's office door was open. He looked up when she entered. Cadet Bora, good to see you mobile. Sit, she sat. They looked at each other in silence for a moment. I suppose you're going to say you told me so, Bora said. No. You did what you thought was necessary. I understand that impulse. Vorn pulled up footage on his desk screen. The match from multiple angles. I've watched this recording 50 times. Do you know what I see? What? The exact same thing I saw when Captain Park saved my life. That refusal to accept defeat, that willingness to endure anything to complete the mission. He paused the footage at the moment Bora dropped her weapons. This part particularly. You stripped away every advantage, every tool, and fought with just your body and will. Why? Because I needed Haywan to understand, not intellectually, emotionally, deeply. I needed her to feel what it's like to fight someone who will never stop. Bora leaned back. Tools break. Weapons fail. But the human will to survive? That's unbreakable. I wanted her to know that in her bones. You succeeded. The entire academy knows it now. Vorn closed the footage. I received 17 formal complaints from students saying your fighting style was inappropriate for training exercises. They say you took unnecessary risks, that you endangered yourself and Haywan, and I rejected every complaint. This is a military academy. We train warriors for real combat. Real combat is ugly and desperate and unfair. You showed everyone here what real combat looks like when you strip away all the ceremony and rules. He pulled out a data pad. However, I am instituting a new policy. Any match involving human cadets will now have enhanced medical protocols and stricter oversight. Because we're dangerous? Because you're unpredictable. Most species have breaking points we can calculate and monitor. Humans don't. That makes you harder to protect. Vorn handed her the pad. Your new assignment. You've been moved to advanced combat instruction. You'll be helping train other cadets in persistence tactics and pain management. Bora read the assignment. You want me to teach them to fight like humans? I want you to show them that there are different kinds of strength. Some students here are naturally gifted, fast, strong, talented. They've never had to struggle. Never had to push past their limits because they've never reached them. You'll help them understand what it means to fight when everything is against you. That's a strange assignment. These are strange times. Humanity joined the Galactic Coalition only 10 years ago. Most species still don't understand what you are, what you're capable of. This academy needs to learn. The whole galaxy needs to learn. Vorn stood. Dismissed, Instructor Bora, she blinked. Instructor? You'll be promoted to junior instructor rank next week. Congratulations. Bora left the office in a daze. Instructor. At her age. It was almost unheard of. She wandered toward the training halls, mind spinning. In the main combat arena, she found a group of students training. They stopped when they saw her. One of them, a young Velcarian, approached nervously. Excuse me, he said. Are you the human who fought Haywan? Yes. Could you teach me? The student looked embarrassed. I'm not fast like Haywan. Not strong like the Krath students. I keep losing matches because I give up when I get hurt. But I saw your fight. You didn't give up. I want to learn how to do that. Bora studied him. He was small for his species. Probably picked last for team exercises. Probably mocked for his weakness. She understood that. Humans had been the weaklings of Earth once before they learned to use their brains and their stubbornness to overcome every natural disadvantage. Okay, she said. I'll teach you. But I need to warn you. My methods aren't easy. You'll get hurt. You'll want to quit. I'll push you past what you think you can handle. I understand. No, you don't, not yet. But you will. She gestured to the training mat. Let's start now. The student followed eagerly. Other cadets gathered to watch. Word spread quickly. The human instructor was teaching. People wanted to see. Over the next week, Bora worked with the student whose name was Kale. She taught him the basics of persistence fighting. How to take a hit and keep moving. How to accept pain without letting it control you. How to find the strength to stand up one more time after being knocked down. It was hard. Kale failed often. He cried in frustration. He wanted to quit a dozen times. But each time, Bora was there, not encouraging him with soft words, but showing him it was possible. Demonstrating that limits were just suggestions, not walls. Why do you keep doing this? Kale asked one day, exhausted and bruised. Why help me? I'm nothing special. Because I was you once, Bora said. Small, weak. Everyone telling me I'd never be a real warrior. But someone taught me that those voices were wrong. That strength comes in many forms. Now I'm teaching you. Haywan visited often during these sessions. She watched silently, learning. The pride that had defined her before was gone, replaced by something better. Humility, curiosity, respect. One evening, after training ended, Haywan approached Bora. I've been thinking about what you said, about Earth being a death world, about humans being shaped by millions of years of survival pressure. And I want to know more. About your world, your people, your history. Haywan paused. I want to understand what created someone like you. Bora considered this. Earth isn't easy to explain. It's not just one thing. It's a billion years of evolution, pressure, adaptation. Humans rising from nothing to become the dominant species not through strength, but through stubbornness and intelligence. Not fast, but with steady, terrible strength. Haywan found herself being. The rest period between rounds 2 and 3 felt longer than it was. Medical teams worked frantically on both fighters. The arena crowd buzzed with conversation, students arguing about what they had witnessed. Haywan sat in her corner, breathing hard. Her medical team applied treatment to her arm, trying to restore function. The shock from Bora's knife strikes was wearing off, but the damage remained. Her coach spoke urgently, pulling up diagrams and data on a portable screen. She's absorbing damage at a rate that should have knocked her unconscious twice over, the coach said. Her pain tolerance is beyond anything in our database. But look at these readings. She's accumulating injuries. One more solid hit might trigger the medical override and end the match in your favor. Haywan nodded, but she wasn't listening. Not really. She was thinking about the expression on Bora's face. That calm, patient look, like someone who knew exactly what was coming and had accepted it completely. Are you listening? Her coach demanded. She's not trying to avoid damage, Haywan said slowly. She's using it. Every hit I land, she learns something. Every time I hurt her, she gets closer. It's like fighting someone who doesn't care about pain at all. That's impossible. Every species has pain responses. It's basic biology. Maybe human biology is different. Haywan stood, testing her restored arm. It worked but felt weak. Instructor Vorn tried to warn me. I should have listened. Across the arena, Bora's corner was having a different conversation. The medical officer had given up trying to make her forfeit. Instead, he was using stimulants to keep her functional, injecting them directly into her system. These will keep you moving for the next round, he said. But afterward, you're going straight to the regeneration pod. Your ribs are cracked, your shoulder ligaments are torn, and you have internal bruising that could become serious. The only reason you're still conscious is pure stubbornness. Good thing humans are stubborn, Bora said. She looked at her hands. They were shaking slightly from adrenaline and stimulants. She made them into fists, forcing them still. How much longer until the override triggers? You're at 70% of the threshold. 2, maybe 3 more significant hits will do it. Then the AI stops the fight and HFY wins by default. Bora nodded. She had expected as much. Then I need to end it this round. Jinwoo leaned down from the gallery. You've already made your point. Everyone saw what you did. You can stop now. No, Bora said quietly. They saw me survive. That's not enough. They need to see me win. Completely. So they understand. Understand what? Why Instructor Vorn gave his warning. The bell rang for round 3. Both fighters moved to the center of the arena. They were slower now, exhausted. HFY's arm was weak. Bora's leg threatened to give out with each step. This wouldn't be a technical showcase anymore. This would be pure will against will. HFY struck first, a careful thrust with her staff. Bora blocked it but took a heavy blow to her damaged shoulder. She grunted in pain but stayed standing. They traded strikes. Neither had the energy for fancy combinations anymore. Just simple, brutal exchanges. Staff against knife, speed against stubbornness. HFY landed more hits but Bora kept pressing forward. Stay down! HFY shouted after landing a kick that sent Bora to one knee. Please, just stay down. Bora looked up at her. Blood dripped from her mouth where she had bitten her lip. Her breathing was ragged. Medical displays showed she was approaching the critical threshold. She smiled again. That same strange smile. Do you know what Earth is? Bora asked, her voice rough. She pushed herself upright slowly. Your people showed pictures of cities and art. They think that's what Earth is, but that's just what we built on top of the real Earth. HFY circled warily. What are you talking about? Earth tried to kill us every day for millions of years. Bora moved forward. One slow step at a time. Gravity that crushes most species. Weather that kills in minutes. Predators everywhere, diseases, poisons, everything on our world wanted us dead. But we survived anyway. You know how? Another step. HFY retreated, confused by this strange speech. We survived because we don't quit. Ever. Not when we're hurt. Not when we're tired. Not when we're dying. We keep going. It's not courage. It's not training. It's just what we are. Millions of years of evolution screaming one message. Don't stop. Never stop. Keep moving until the threat is ended. Bora dropped her weapons. Both the rifle and the knife clattered to the floor. HFY stared. What are you doing? You wanted to see what makes humans dangerous. Bora's breathing was steady now, focused. It's not weapons. Not technology. It's this, she charged. No technique. No strategy. Just forward, like a force of nature. HFY swung her staff desperately. It connected with Bora's ribs. The medical alarm screamed warnings. 85% of threshold. One more hit would trigger the override. Bora didn't stop. Didn't even slow down. She crashed into HFY like a wave hitting rocks and they both went down. On the ground. Wrestling now. HFY was stronger. Should have been able to control the fight. But Bora fought like something wild. No rules, no form, just relentless pressure. She took hits that made the audience gasp, but each time she absorbed them and kept attacking. HFY's staff fell away. They were fighting with bare hands now. Grappling. HFY tried to push Bora off, but the human wouldn't let go. Those vice-like hands locked onto HFY's armor and wouldn't release. You can still win, Bora said through gritted teeth. Her face was bruised, bleeding. She looked terrible, but her eyes were clear and focused. Hit me one more time hard, the AI will stop the fight. You'll win! HFY pulled her fist back. One punch. That's all it would take. One solid hit and this nightmare would be over. But something stopped her. Maybe it was the look in Bora's eyes. Maybe it was the realization that even if the AI stopped the fight, Bora would never truly stop. Not really. She would keep coming. In another match, another place, another time. Humans didn't know how to quit. I can't, HFY whispered. You're already at the threshold. One more hit might cause permanent damage. I know, Bora said. But you won't do it. Because you're a good person. You fight with honor. That's admirable, really. Her grip shifted, finding new leverage. But right now it means you've already lost. Bora twisted hard, using her entire body weight. They rolled. Suddenly Bora was on top, her arms snaking around HFY's neck. A chokehold, simple and effective. HFY struggled. She was stronger. She should have been able to break free. But Bora's positioning was perfect and her grip was unbreakable. Those human hands, those incredible hands locked in place. Yield, Bora said quietly, close to HFY's ear, or we both pass out and the medics decide who wins. But I've gone unconscious before. I can do it again.
can you?
HFY fought for 10 seconds, 15, 20. Her vision started to blur. Her enhanced cardiovascular system bought her time, but not forever. Bora's grip was cutting off blood flow to her brain. She could feel Bora's body shaking. The human was at her absolute limit. Broken bones, torn muscles, systems flooded with stimulants and pain. By every logical measure, Bora should have been unconscious minutes ago. But she wasn't. She was still here, still fighting, still holding on, because that's what humans did. They kept going when every other species would have stopped. They endured the impossible because they didn't know it was impossible. They won fights they should have lost because losing meant dying, and humans had spent millions of years refusing to die. HFY's hand came up. She tapped twice on Bora's arm, the universal signal: yield, surrender, end the fight. Bora released immediately and rolled off. She lay on her back, staring at the arena ceiling, breathing hard. Her body had given everything. There was nothing left. The arena was silent for 3 full seconds. Then it erupted. Half the students cheered. The other half sat in shocked silence. Arguments broke out immediately. The betting halls would be chaos for hours. Medical teams rushed onto the platform. They went to Bora first, the sensors showing she was in critical condition. They loaded her onto a stretcher carefully. She didn't resist. Couldn't resist. Her body had finally given out now that the fight was over. As they carried her past, Bora's eyes found HFY. The Valkyrian sat on the ground, unhurt but defeated. Their eyes met. Bora nodded once. Respect. She had meant what she said. HFY fought with honor. Under other circumstances, in another situation, they might have been friends. Then the medical team carried her away, and everything went dark. In the control booth, Instructor Vorn leaned back in his chair. Vel looked at him. "You knew this would happen," Vel said. "Yes, I tried to prevent it, but some lessons can only be learned the hard way." Vorn watched as medics attended to both fighters. Now the Academy knows. Now they understand why I gave that warning. Will this change things? Everything, Vorn said. Every student here just learned that humans don't fight like other species. They don't calculate odds. They don't weigh cost versus benefit. They just fight until they win or die trying. That's terrifying and admirable in equal measure. He stood and headed for the door. I need to check on both of them. Make sure the medical teams know. Bora is cleared for level 3 protocols. They're authorized to use advanced regeneration on her injuries. In the arena, H